Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is another great day, and I am here at our Antioch location, and we're getting ready for calendar planning meetings today. So, this is where we come together from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and we go down a vision presentation that I will give to talk about what 2025's goals are, and then we will go down the calendar. We'll plan the entire calendar for 2025. Of course, leaving room for the Holy Spirit to speak to our leader, as well as room for just any other initiatives that may necessitate themselves on the calendar. But this day is going to be exciting. I wanted to do like a mic'd up, but that would just be way too much because I need to focus. I'm actually like focusing on what I'm doing. So I can't do that. But I think I'm going to try to give you guys an insight to my presentation in the beginning, to which I will be opening up the meeting talking about the finding the able in impossible. Finding the able in impossible. If you ever want to uh, ruffle your leader's feathers, just any leader, boss, anyone, tell them that something is impossible, that they know has ability to be done. And that will ruffle their feathers. But I know that's not you. And that's why we're on this blog today. So remember last time I talked to you guys about being on time and making sure that you're timely. Today I arrived for this meeting an hour and 15 minutes before it started because I wanted to make sure that I am never the excuse by which people think that they should not be on time. So I'm excited because this day is really collaborative. It's a long day. I formatted this day a little bit different than we normally do, just out of the fact that it's the end of the year. You have to know how to read a room before you walk into a room. In a sense of we're doing this meeting later than we normally do in the year, to which everyone knows end of the year fatigue comes in. Everyone's kind of thinking about other things, and most of us are just really in 2025 and just trying to finish out 2024 strong. So yeah, I formatted it in a way that I think is effective, efficient, and we'll see once we finish this. So, all right, I'll be back in a second. Well, when you guys see me, we'll be in the actual meeting with our entire staff. Has kind of settled on in, and so, hey, I did not know. Oh, I got it now. I know exactly who you are. I'm like, I saw the name, but yes. Oh man, hey. All right, awesome. So, yeah, I know that we are a little later in the year than normal, so I've kind of crafted this where we're not stuck in this room from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I've also given us some breaks, right, so that we can make sure that we're just keeping the energy up. As you can see throughout the agenda, there are some breakout sessions. I want to provide a little bit of clarity about what that is, right? That's just an opportunity. Oftentimes, we come into this room and we are throwing these ideas out, right? But we never notice how the room is set up. Everything is strategic in this space. From the way that the tables are set up so that no one feels excluded. You can't see the other side of the room, I don't think, but we had quite a bit of staff on that side, and we make sure that we sit in this way so that no one's in the back, no one's in the front. Everybody is around the table together. You can't hide in this space, right? There's no being in the back and kind of doing your own thing. Everyone is accountable to this space and everyone's voice is equal. Everyone can be heard. So this was really a good meeting, y'all. We stayed in here from 9 a.m. We concluded at 3:58. 3:58, and the day was really set up in a way to make sure that everyone had collaboration, that we were able to break out into our departments, kind of digest what we talked about, and then come into the room and collaborate even further. I was super proud of everyone because we really did step up and we made it happen. Every year I take notes, right? You take notes on how to make it better. My impartation this time, of course, was on putting the able and impossible. I wanted to speak that in the room because I know for a fact the vision that we're working on this year is going to require not a level of apathy, but a level of appetite to go after what we're trying to do. So this was less than 24 hours later, and I'm going to share some of my meeting notations. Good morning, everybody. This is probably going to be day 2 of the vlog. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna edit this. But okay, I am on my way to work, of course, but I needed to stop and talk to y'all on my way because I have to let you know how the meeting went. And there's just this one leadership tip I've been really thinking about. I heard somebody say it on a podcast. So, listen to this podcast yesterday, and something was said about Prince. Now, I was born in '96, so I'm not like a Prince fan. I know one Prince song, and that's like Purple Rain. So that's I'm not a huge Prince fan, let me just say that. But I do know the magnitude of Prince, and I know the magnitude of what he meant to music and what he meant to the world. So, person was talking, they basically was like, hey, Prince had an album. Prince had hits. Prince was killing the game. He was the game. He was different. Even though you had Michael, like, Prince was that guy. His last album, they asked him, why do you think your last album tanked? He literally said, because I stopped listening to music. I stopped listening to others' music. I stopped being cognizant of what was out there. I stopped being exploratory of what was the appetite of the nation. I stopped, and it just hit me that we can be in such bubbles that we just stop listening. We forget that there is more out there. And I shared some of that yesterday, in a sense of, it hit me. You can be so busy thinking that you're doing it that you forget that you aren't the only one doing it. So I just always think about those leadership tips, like, yo, you got to be out here. You got to know what's going on, what the appetite is. All right. So anyway, that's your tidbit. That's important. That's important to note, because I'm telling y'all, it's not a game out here. It's not a game. It's not a game. I'm just naturally inquisitive. Like when I put in the vlog, my last vlog on being on time, it's not necessarily about the fact that you do this because someone else is doing it or because someone else isn't. Just naturally inquisitive. Just always want to learn how to be better. Forever a student. And I think the moment that you're no longer a student is the moment you're no longer a leader. One thing that I learned yesterday: people appreciate when you can follow as well as you lead. So I'm not a leader that you introduce a new tactic, as long as it doesn't compromise the vision. Hey, let's try it. Let's try it. And here's the thing that I've learned, and then I'm gonna get into this meeting. It's okay to try things. It's okay to do something different. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to it's not the end of the world. So many people are married to religion, married to tradition, rather than being married to the mission. Like, I'm married to the mission. Whatever variation that looks like, that's what I'm married to. So it's just, I'm growing weary of, and this is what I talked about yesterday. I didn't talk about it in the sense of growing weary, but I shared it on this vlog. But if you ever want to upset a leader, you ever want to make someone second guess whether there is apathy for the vision, gotta make sure my mic is good. If you ever want to, I'll just leave it there. Here's what you do. You talk about what is impossible. You talk about what is impossible. When they bring you something, here's why we can't. And you just kill it on the spot. You never inquire. You never think about, here's what we can do. Let me do some research. Let me get back to you on that. And here's the thing that I am toiling with. I had to come to grips with this in my own life. Even my limitations won't be limiting to what needs to get done. Hear me. Even my limitations won't be limiting to what has to get done. If I don't know how to do it, somebody else does. And I'm not intimidated by the person that can do what I can't. Because I believe you me, while they can do what I can't, there's some things I can do that they can't. So you got to really come to grips with the fact that there don't be the impossible impossible. Like, don't be that person. So that's your tidbit. Don't be that person. All right. So here's what I opened up the meeting with. When we talk about impossible, we talk about all of that. That's what I opened it up with. I opened it up with the word impossible. I wanted to know why the word impossible isn't spelled with ABLE at the end. Like believable, achievable. All those words that there's able in them. Able, meaning able to believe, able, like able. That's a theme that's in them, and I really tried to figure out. I'm like, impossible. So I did some digging and realized that able is in the word impossible. IBLE. Actually, if you look up what that means when it's attached to a word, it actually means to be able to. It's just a different, I think it's Latin versus ABLE has another, is derived from another language. So I realized that I don't look at the word impossible as impossible. I look at the word impossible as I'm possible. And that's what I want to instill in people that work around the vision, is that what we really look at as impossible, read it as I'm possible. You got to have a different outlook on life. You got to have a different outlook on what you believe can be done. Is it impossible, or do you just not know how to do it? That's a whole other situation. Is it impossible, or are you telling me that there is a limitation that you have that you're not able to do it? Thusly, you're telling me it's impossible. I know it's not impossible because if I see someone else do it, it's not impossible. That's why I opened this up earlier. I just said it. I said it. That even my limitations won't limit the vision. Because if I don't know how to do it, you better believe I'm going to find out. And if I can't find out, then I'm going to find somebody else who can. You got to be teachable. You got to be open. You have to be hungry. That's what's needed to make sure that vision comes to life. So there's no more impossible. That's not even in the vocabulary. I told them, I said, in my reporting structure, I no longer even want to say things like, I don't know how that's going to get done. That's not even language I use. That's not something that's in my vocabulary. It's not even my Rolodex of things to pull out linguistically when I'm speaking. It's not impossible. It's possible. It's just, do you have the ability to do it? Do you have the ability to make it happen? That's the question that I'm asking now. It's not impossible. Even when you think about standards, the standards of life, the standards that you have for yourself, is that impossible? Or are we just asking for the wrong people to do it? That's where the equation, you got to look at that equation. Is it impossible, or am I asking the wrong people to do it? And there you'll find your answer. I'll be right back, y'all. One of the things that you got to understand, I'm back now, is take this mic off so I can talk into this mic now that I'm parked. But one of the things that I always teach on in leadership, and that's Plato's allegory of the cave. And if you don't know about Plato's allegory of the cave, you should actually go look it up, read on it. It's pretty powerful because, and I love philosophy. I always say if I was like born in that time, I would be a philosopher, like just sitting around writing about my thoughts, writing about things that I've seen that are data driven, different types of people. I'm very observant in that way. But one of the things that I've learned from that is the fact that Plato writes about gentlemen who are sitting in a cave and they are sitting facing a wall to which they only are able to see what people put in front of them. And that wall, they've looked at it for so long that when people come inside of the cave and they say, "Hey, there is freedom, there's a world out there," they'd rather stay in the cave than go see what is possible in life because that's all they've been exposed to. And I think about that in life so much because I'm just like, sometimes we get to this place where that's all we know. We've been sitting in front of that wall for so long that when someone comes along and says, "Hey, let's try something different. Let's do something new. Let's think creatively." It's like you live inside of this rigid, non-creative, non a conformative type of way, and it's just like that's not how Jesus lived. I'm like, do y'all know the Jesus that we're serving? Because that wasn't him. He was definitely a non-conformist in so many facets of life, where they expected him to be a certain kind of Messiah to do this. He was like, "I come to set the captives free. I know that you wanted me to be with the captives, but I've come to set them free. They're not even going to be captives anymore. I'm actually getting ready to tear down this whole structure." Now, I'm not saying that's the best way to do this, to tear down structures. That's not smart. But what I am saying is that the structures that we work within should have the tone of Jesus. That's like at any moment, whatever necessitates this moment is what I will do, even if it goes against the norm, even if it doesn't look like what people think it should looks like. They should look like, even when you have to second guess, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Like I'm at that place. I'm at that place. I'm at that place. I'm at that place. Like Lord, okay, this is it. This is what you're trying to get out of me. You don't want me to conform. You don't want me. I get it. And it's tough, right? It's tough because you're like, hey, you're the one rallying. You're the one rallying to say, I know, I know, I know. Don't get weary in well doing. Don't get weary in well doing. For in due season you shall reap if you faint not. Listen, this is the last thing we're going to leave you guys with. And then I'm going to go into work. Now, I cannot show y'all what the set looks like because we're getting ready to record for February. So that's just too far in advance for me to kind of spoil what this is going to look like. So tune in Mount Zion Nashville on Wednesdays in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Every day. I mean, every week. It's content, right? It's biblical content. So anyway, I'll leave you with this. I almost forgot what I was going to say because I got sidetracked. Do not get weary in well doing. Do not underestimate the power of intercession. There are some things that you can rally for, you can fight, you can write it up, you can present it, you can do all those things. But there's some things, as Jesus says, that only come out through prayer and fasting. Some things, after you've fought, after you've been responsible, after you've done your due diligence, after all of that is said and done, you got to give it over to Jesus. And I promise you, after you do all that, you're on time, you're credible, you're nice, you're genuine, you're not comparative. After you do all of that, after it's all said and done, this kind only comes out, it only comes through, it only works, it only comes to pass, it only comes to fruition through prayer and fasting. So, I know we got intercessory prayer, intercessory praise. I think I'm going to tap into intercessory leadership because even while these things are on paper, you sending emails, casting vision, doing those different things, praying, Lord, let this make sense. Let this bless somebody. I always keep the mind of the people in the forefront. Is this a me thing? Is it a me thing? Is it a me thing? Or is this a people thing? Is this the people you've called us to? That's what I always think about. So that's my tidbit. And I'm getting ready to go into work. I may show y'all a little bit of this. I think I'm going to show you a little bit. And then, yeah, I'll show you a little bit. But I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. But I'll show you a little bit. All right. See y'all in a second. All right, I gotta chill with the getting in trouble piece, but this is pretty much the set. We're doing February today, and of course, I'm on set. This is me. I am ordering DoorDash actually because we need coffee and a little food, and just waiting for that to come. But knocked out 5 parts. 5 parts, yeah, yeah. We it's different. It's a cadence. But like, share, subscribe, follow. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it, y'all. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, follow me on Instagram, Diamondjgantt. I'll see y'all later.